Sir, how do you feel about the fact that president's playing offense? Like, he's a business guy, so he likes to own real estate and a lot of different properties and good locations. So he goes and buys I think it was a post office right next to the White House, builds it up really nice, fancy, 99-year contract, land lease. He goes to New York, does all these great property. He always wants to build nice Trump Towers, Vegas, all over the place. So his mindset is expansion, right? So you hear him talk about Canada should be 51st state. You see him brokering the deal with BlackRock to buy the two ports on Panama Canal. They bought 43 of them for $22.8 billion to prevent China from having control over the Panama Canal. He talks about Greenland. He talks about what if we build that in Gaza. He talks about all this stuff. Does that excite you, or does that make you nervous saying, no, let's just focus on America. Stop looking at Panama Canal. Stop looking at Greenland. Stop looking at Gaza. How do you view them when you hear him saying those things?
Well, that they're using force to get what they want. It's anti-libertarian. It won't work. It'll eventually crash. And that's when people can gang up on the people who are doing this. They're using violence to carry these things out and how they want to do it. So what they have to do, they have to own the government. That's why you have, the best thing that Musk has done has exposed, the amount that USAID has been involved. That to me is really amazing. But, most people can understand if I go into your house and steal something from you, it's still wrong and I can go to jail for that. But when the government goes and you have regulators and you're building buildings all over the place and you get special deals and then you get the loans from the government this USAID shows how the special interests went in a circuitous way around all the rules that were there and give money out to the special interests. And most of it was political manipulation. So that has to cease, and it will, because the money's going to quit working. You say, well, that's chaos. Yes, it is. But when it comes suddenly and you have a chaos, then you have Venezuela and Zimbabwe, and that's a lot worse. So you want to prevent that. But so my position is not going to be one where next year we're going to have a vote and say, Ron Paul was right. We should cut our spending. So we're only going to vote for people in the House of Representatives that agree to cut 10% of the budget every year and work our way out of it. Ain't going to happen. That doesn't work that way. The liquidation has to occur, and unfortunately, it's very dangerous. And that's where we'll see the problem. And it's a contest between who picks up the pieces. I want to participate in advising or encouraging people to pick up the pieces and go for liberty, rather than saying what we have to have are cultural Marxists to tell people everything in their lives what they can do or can't do. And one thing that really bugs me is when we hear that we give some money to a country or some outfit, and then they start, like a college campus, like Columbia. The college campuses come along, and they start lobbying or they start expressing themselves, about the Mideast war. It's just an expression of voluntary, freedom of speech. Oh, you can't do that. We're going to take your money away. So that's a double whammy. They shouldn't have given the money to the university. And the second thing is, are you going to take the money away in order to control speech? So they destroy several things under those conditions. People say, well, and they say, Ron, do you know what you're endorsing? Some of these people are terrible. Some of them are as terrible as January 6th people. I mean, they were just terrible, and they were going to destroy the world. So that's why I think that it has to be much more clarified. And I hope I don't confuse things.
So, but let me ask you this. Going back to the question I asked. So it doesn't excite you that U.S. took control of the two ports in Panama Canal away from China? It doesn't excite you that the president's trying to get some of the natural resources from Greenland, even though it sounds out of the ordinary, or the conversations he's having with Canada, that doesn't excite you? You don't look at it and say, this is...
all depends how you do it. I mean, if it's above board, voluntarism, both sides have to agree to it. But if technically the canal was owned, right now it's been that way for so many years, and you ignore that, that's not moral. Both sides, it's so easy if you say both sides have to agree, whether it's social, sexual, religious, economic, both sides, everybody knows that about marketplaces. You go in, if somebody says this is going to cost $20, well, that's too much. And somebody say, well, okay, I'll sell it to you for $15. Both sides have to agree. But no, that's not the way it is. What they do now is we have a system of government where the lobbyists go to Washington and dictate the sales and what you can do socially. When you think about who gets to run in races and all that other junk, that just makes things that much worse because we allow the government to use force. People say, well, so you have to have force. Yes, if I was drafted in 1962 and there were Russian missiles and Soviet missiles in Cuba, and I wasn't somebody that that actually, I mean, I was still interested in foreign policy, but that wasn't my standing grounds. I mean, that's a lot different. I do believe that you have to have a national defense, but here we have. See, I think all this immigration stuff was more of an invasion because we did something there. Is we took money from people who were working and we subsidized them. If you subsidize something, you get more of it. And then we have these millions of people come in that aren't exactly our friends, and we avoided the whole principle of property rights, because if somebody comes into your house. That say, oh, well, we're short a house. I want to live in your house and we have a right to this. Most Americans would say, kid, you get out of here. But what if you have a town that has 1,000 people and they've worked for 25 years to have an infrastructure and the government sends them 10,000 more and they put them in a hotel? That's insane. But it's a property rights thing there. It wasn't voluntary. There wasn't two sides agreeing. But if somebody comes in and says, I've worked hard, I've saved this money, and I want to buy this and that. So people just really ought to understand what voluntarism really means. It's fantastic. It would solve a lot of problems, and it's not complicated.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.